Hello, I'm just going to show you quickly how to um, make a welt pocket for a waistcoat. So firstly, this is the wrong side of my fabric, and I've marked where I want the pocket placement to be. So I'm just going to put a couple of pins through, try and keep them vertical when they first go in, and then when you hit the table you can push them sideways, and then you can flip the top layer back and then mark with a chalk pencil where the pin is, and that's taking those markings from the wrong side to the right side of the fabric. Okay, so that's my waistcoat front. Put that to one side for a moment, and then I've made them up already, but basically two rectangles of woolen cloth, and then what I did, I folded them like that, and then I machined 1/4 inch down each side, trimmed the corner off, and then turn them through and press them. So they end up looking like this, and they are the welts. Okay, so you can see I just machined down the lengths or the short ends, trim the corners across, turn them through, use my snips to push the corner out, and gave them a press. Depending on the weight of the fabric, you could also put a bit of Stay-Flex in there, a bit of linen to just, or canvas, sorry, to just strengthen them. But for this, I'm just going to use them as they are. On top of that, we need pocket bags, and I've cut them out of a white cotton, and they need to be wider than your welt and however long you want them to be. I always just cut a rectangle and then I trim it to shape afterwards, and there are 4 of these because I'm doing 2 pockets. Okay, so I'm going to put one set to one side for the minute and just work on this one. So I get my front, lay the welt on top. So this is right sides to right sides. You have one of 2 options here. I'm pinning it on, and then if you want to, you can just machine across the width of the welt. I'm going to do it at the same time as sewing the pocket bag on. So lay the pocket bag over the top, and then I'm going to put a pin in there, and basically I'm going to machine from the end of the welt, so you can see where the end of the welt is, because where my pin drops down, that's the end of the welt, to the other end of the welt. Okay, so you might not be able to see this very clearly, but I'll show you when I've done it. Obviously use more pins if you are less experienced or you feel that you need them. Okay, so that is sewn from the end of the welt to the end of the welt. It's just a little bit short on that side, but it doesn't matter. It's better to be a little incy bit short than too far over. And then I take the other pocket bag, lay that up in front of it, and then what I'm going to do is I'll put a pin in just so you can see. I'm going to machine from there, so the same position. And then to the end of the welt at that end as well. Okay, and I'm using about I'm using an industrial sewing machine, and I'm using the width of the foot, which will be narrower than the width of a domestic sewing machine, so I would call it 1/4 inch. Okay, so again, I've gone a little bit shy of it at that end. I'm not worried about that, and I thought I'd gone over at that end, but in actual fact, because I went under that there, it is in actual line with the end of the welt. Okay, probably difficult for you to see because I'm working on dark fabric. Let me turn that on and see if that helps at all. Okay, that's that end, and then the next step, I'm going to cut down that centre. So I'm only actually going to cut the waistcoat fabric, not the pocket bags or the welt. I'm just going to cut the waistcoat fabric, and I'm going to cut down the middle, but I'm going to stop about 3/4 of an inch from the end, and then I'm going to do a little V out to where my machine line is. Okay, you need sharp scissors or snips to do this. What you don't want to do is cut your stitching, because your pocket bag and welt would end up falling off otherwise. So just snip up to your stitch line. And then once you've done that, that means you've now got a hole, and you can tuck the back one in. What I didn't say, I don't think, is that the welt is laying right sides to right sides, but it's laying down because it's going to fold up. Okay, so the top of the waistcoat is furthest away from me at the moment. So flip that over, pull that pocket bag through, pull the other pocket bag through, and then you should have it looking like that, and that's your welt going up. What you need to do is make sure you pull your pocket bag down so that the pocket bag sits flat. You go and press it, and then the last step is to stitch the welt down and the pocket bags. So I'm just going to do that quickly now. Where that little bit that you've cut out is, you're going to stick it out into the pocket bag, okay? Actually, say the pocket bag first, I think. So you're going to stitch onto that, and you're going to go down, across, and then up the other side without catching the top of the fabric, okay? So have it so that you've got the top fabric facing up, and just move your seam allowance out of the way, or move your fabric out of the way, and then you can see your pocket bag, machine down, across, that's the bottom of your pocket bag, and then back up again, okay? And then, so again, the top of the waistcoat is furthest away from me, and that is my welt pocket. So I'm just going to machine that, but I'm going to machine it. Some people hand stitch it, that's entirely up to you. I'm going to machine it, and I'm going to machine it so that the bottom of the waistcoat is furthest away from me now, because otherwise what you end up doing is actually pushing it and bagging it if you start at this end. So starting from that end where it's secure and attached to the waistcoat. And that's, I'm machining probably about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge of the pocket welt. Turn out the right way. And that is my welt pocket. Okay, and then what I would do is get some scissors and just trim round that so that it was in line with either the edge of the waistcoat or a little bit short. It's up to you. I usually catch mine in, but I would actually trim that side down definitely, just so it's nice and neat. Okay, and then that is my waistcoat pocket done. So I'm just going to do the other one. I'll talk through again, but it's exactly the same process. So take my front. The only thing you've got to remember is that you're making a pair of fronts, so make sure that you don't pick up the other piece on the wrong side, especially if you've got a wool which just looks the same on both sides. So that's the top of my waistcoat front, and I'm going to get the welt and lay it on so that it is, the folded edge is nearest me, okay? So nearest the hem, because ultimately it's going to fold up like that. So just line that up with those chalk marks that I've made. Put a couple of pins in just to hold it in place. Now I've sewn a lot of waistcoats and waistcoat pockets in my time, so I don't use lots of pins and things. But please, if you need to, please do use them. Okay, so then I'm going to just machine along, catching the welt and the pocket bag, and just go from one edge of the pocket welt to the other, not going over, and using about a foot's width. I'm actually going to, if you do think you need to go over it again, don't change your ends, but I'm just going to go that middle bit because it was just bowing in a little tiny bit. And then line that up, and then I'm going to line it up so that I machine the same distance. You can mark it, you can put pins in, you can do whatever works for you. But I'm assuming you've got a little bit of knowledge If you haven't, that's fine. Say to me in the comments, could you go through it a bit slower, or could you do a step by step? And I will do a more basic version if you want me to. It's just I happen to be making a waistcoat, so I thought I'll show you how to do this. So I've cut down the middle, just the top, just the waistcoat fabric, and I've got about 3/4 of an inch to the end. Then turn back the welt and snip to your stitch line. Turn back the pocket bag on that side, snip to your stitch line, and then do the same at the other end. Okay, and then we have a hole. Top of the waistcoat is up there. I don't know if you can see that. Right, okay, and then we're going to pull the pocket bags through. And if you want to at this point, you can go and press it. Entirely up to you. Depending on what fabric you've got, you may need to press it as well. This is quite forgiving, so you can just smooth it with your hands. But if you think you need to, then please do so. Again, I know the materials I'm dealing with. So get that little V sticking out, and you're just going to catch it. Push down, so that's the side, and across the bottom, just the pocket bags we're sewing. And the only bit of wool we're catching is the ends of those little V's, so they don't stick out or pop out. And then with the welt, so the opening is nearest you, just lay it all flat. Again, put a pin in if you need to, and then about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, you're going to machine the welt to the waistcoat. And then that will give you 2 pocket bags, or waistcoat pocket welts. Okay, and then you're ready for construction for the rest of the waistcoat. Thank you for watching. Hope it was of interest. Like I said earlier, if you think, oh, she went through that really fast, can you show me again? Can you do it a bit slower? Then just write me a note in the chat, in the comments, and just say, how do I do that? Is there a more basic version? That's fine. I can show you. Just let me know. If you like the video, just click on the like, on the thumbs up. And if you want to see more, then please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye.